So my name is Sara Dahl. I'm the country manager for VI Agroforestry here in Uganda, and we are the ones organizing this event. I would like to introduce Henrik Brundin, who is the Deputy CEO for VI Agroforestry. He's based in Stockholm in our head office, and he is the one who's going to give us the opening remarks of this conference. Thank you.
First of all, I would like to congratulate you, because this will prove a very important event, I'm sure. And for those of you who have come here, I'm sure you will produce a lot of good results from this. VI Agroforestry, what is it all about for those of you who doesn't know us, who doesn't know who we are? Of course, we're a Swedish-based development organization, and we have been operating in Eastern Africa since more than 30 years back. And here in Uganda, we have been operating since 1992. So we have a bit of a track record, I would say. And you can see that we are focusing on now, maybe the picture is not all that great, but I hope you can see the countries. We are focusing on the area around Lake Victoria. And in Eastern Africa, we are partnering with roughly 40 farmers organizations, local, member-based farmers organizations. And over time we have reached almost, I think now it's at 1.8, I think we'll soon have 2 million people that we have reached with our target intervention. We have a new strategy for the organization, and it runs from next year to 2021. And it's a 5-year strategy, and it's just been newly adopted by the board of directors. Just this September it was adopted, and we aim at overall level. When we started this strategy work, we said, okay, so how will we fit in to this newly adopted sustainable development agenda? So we said, okay, we started this almost 1 year ago in November. It's been a consultative process, and the countries on every level have been participating. So we said, okay, of course, we need to acknowledge the fact that we have now global target for sustainable development. And then we said, okay, with our history, which of these targets are we going to support or give our input to? And we said, we ended up from the 17. You know the SDGs, right? Does anyone dare to say, I don't know? We all know the SDGs, yeah. So we know they are 17, and all of them have strategic indicators. So there are a set of 169 indicators. So we looked very carefully at these indicators, and we said, okay, so no poverty, to end hunger, to have gender equality, to combat the climate change, and to support life on that land. That is who we are. That is what we do. So we saw the indicators and we fit well into that. Now more specifically, next slide please. So we said, okay, let's focus our intervention on what we have been doing. You will not meet a new VI Agroforestry for the coming years. It will still be the same old organization, but a bit more targeted. So we say sustainable agriculture to combat climate change. That is who we are. That is our core intervention. It's centered around the tree and around agroforestry. Now, economic security seems to be even more pertinent for the coming years, to secure financial access and to be able to invest. We are going to be a bit better in the enterprise development. And of course, we have also risen when it comes to gender equality. And we have pronounced gender equality, lifting young girls, young women, to actually be very much more pronounced in the work that will come. And systems and governance, especially, this is the support that we give to the local partners, our organization development to the local farm-based organizations. So it's very interesting to see that the majority of these farmers' organizations, they have more female members than men. Have you seen that here in Uganda?
Yes.
You have. And I was also fortunate just the day before yesterday, I was in Mpiji. I had a fantastic visit with the partner organization. And it's very interesting to see that about 2/3 of the members, it's roughly the same everywhere I travel. 2/3 of the members are women. And then I come and then I meet the board.
Yes.
Who is on the board?
Men.
Who is on the board?
Majority men.
Okay, men. And are they young men or are they? They are
Men.
pretty old men. So I start always to engage. Okay, so how do you see sustainability in this organization? And people, the men, they start to give a lot of excuses. Like, but you know, we don't have the young women. They are not there. We don't have, you know, in our country, it's always very specific. In our country, I travel all around the world. It's always very specific. In our country, we don't have female leaders. So I said, okay, but what have you done to identify those? What have you done to educate those? I'm sure they are there because I meet so many very talented young women. And how come when I see the board, I see 9 representatives and 1 female? And that female, more often, she is a female representative. And the board, they are very happy. They say, we have a female representative. So I said, okay, but my God, what is it? You have a female representative? You don't think you need to have a balance in the board? And this is exactly why we are here today. My challenge to you is, think critically as we are producing the results of this conference. Are we? It starts with us. Do we treat the young boys and the young girls the same? And if the answer is not a very clear yes, then how can we accept to see changes at the board level? Because it starts with us and it starts with the younger generation, I think. Okay. Next slide, please. Sweden has a feminist foreign government policy. And this has been debated. What is this? But the feminist policy is basically to say our Minister of Foreign Affairs, our Minister for Development Cooperation says we need to have a very strong gender focus in everything we do in our foreign policy to acknowledge the fact that women and men don't have the same opportunity. This is true for migration, this is true for the development cooperation and many other areas. And we have just started this since, I think, one and a half year back or something like that. So before I wind up, what do we expect from this conference? The purpose, of course, here is learning, sharing experiences. I know that you have a lot of positive examples. I know, and I have met so many strong women leaders who have been fighting to get their position at the board. But how did it happen? What did we do to identify those? And how can we progress this so that we are better? Because I absolutely believe that if we should say that a farmer organization is sustainable, it's no longer okay to have 9 men on the board and 2/3 of the women being members. That is not sustainable, if you ask me. So we think that maybe a more clear understanding of the framework of this conference, how this could be applied to the local organizations, and how we can share best practices. And now, of course, we have already, I said I congratulate you for being here, because it will prove a very important conference, I'm sure. So the networking and the pool of stakeholders who are like-minded, who think that, okay, this gender equality is for real, and we believe it, then I think we are starting that work in Uganda. So with those few remarks, I end, as we almost always start, with where trees grow, people grow. That is what we believe as BI Agroforestry. Next slide, please. Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay.